Good afternoon to all of you gathered here today on our Mahatma Evoked Winners Stream. I'm Rotaract Malcolm Cardoza, the editor of the Rotaract Club of TCET, and I would be your host for this stream. On this stream today, the winners of a recent Gandhi Jayanti themed article writing drive, Mahatma Evoked, would be reading out their winning articles. Now, without any further ado, let's begin our stream by introducing the winners of Mahatma Evoked. The winners are: in the first place, we have Rotaract Ridya Sharma, editor of RC Bombay Kandivali. In the second place, we have Rotaract Vaidehi Lahane, editor of RC Bombay Jewels. And in the third place, we have Rotaract Ekta Singh, general body member of RCTC. Once again, I'd like to wish all of you heartfelt congratulations for winning this ride. Unfortunately, Rotaract Ekta Singh could not join us for the stream as she is currently out of town and is facing constant network problems. So, on her behalf, I will be reading out her winning articles. So, let's start with our first place winner, Rotaract Ridya Sharma. Ridya Sharma, we can start with your readout of your article. Go, Ridya.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you ordered.
Okay. So the title of my article was "The Weak Can Never Forgive. Forgiving is something that requires courage." As you walk down this journey called life, don't let anyone make you feel unworthy. You are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. We meet nearly 80,000 people in our lives. The characters of our story are who share their life with us. As we stride ahead, we have this beautiful melody of life that renders every person we meet. The cacophony of words. Words are the weapon that strikes harder than the sword itself. Some melodies are tuned with us, giving us peace. Some resonate with us with a string of affection, while some tunes grind the very aspect of our being. They make us question our self worth and make us vulnerable. We live in a world where vulnerability is considered as a weakness. People are scared to show their real selves. A question for you: what if instead of seeing their outer self, we could see their candid soul? What if we could live in a world where there are no facades? Everyone spoke from the depth of their heart. The soul would not refuge itself behind the shadows of forgery and would reflect the hues of truth. Wouldn't the world be a happier and a safer place to live in? Society has conditioned us to be a fake versions of ourselves where we have to behave a certain way to mingle with certain groups of people to look cool. But are we the slaves of the society or the slaves of the perception of the opinions of others? Kindness and empathy are traits that the world lacks because we are conditioned to be fitted in the society. Being rude and harsh is a new trend now. People project their insecurities on others to look good in their eyes. Don't let the insecurities of others ruin your peace. Go ahead and live your life peacefully. Set your soul free and let it dance with the wind. I hope this article reminds you that you are worthy of love and kindness. Forgive and let the passions of your heart thrive. I hope you fall in love again with being alive. Thank you. You are on
Article
mute.
written by you. Am I on you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
now you are.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really a thought-provoking article written by you, Ravi. That just hits about. And for the next article, you'll have to wait for some time because Rotator Vedai Lahane has just disconnected. Just 5 minutes, please.
Am I audible
Yes,
now?
I think she. Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Sorry for the
Hi.
inconvenience, everyone. She's back online. Hey,
Yes,
Rotator.
yes.
Yeah. Yes, we can
Hello.
see. Yeah, yeah, we can see and hear you.
Sure, thank you. Should I read it out?
Yes, yes. Now we'll be
Just give me
moving on
one
with.
second.
Yeah, we'll be moving on with our second place winning article with written by Rotaract Vedai Lahani from RC Mumbai Jewels. Go Vedai whenever you're ready.
Yes, just one second.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Can I read it with my camera off? Will it be fine?
Is there a network problem on your side?
Yes, yes,
Okay, okay, sure, sure.
yes.
Go ahead.
Um, yes. So I had written on the topic, be the change you wish to see in the world. Indian history is incomplete without the tales of our freedom fighters. One such is our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, an epitome of spirituality and strong character. We are all familiar with the accomplishments done by this superhuman, a political leader as well as a social activist. His works truly uplifted the confidence of Indians to march towards freedom. His simple and decent values, like ahimsa and satya, help us to win the greatest battle of all, freeing India from the clutches of British rule. Gandhi once said, be the change you wish to see in the world, which is true to all its means. Change cannot be brought at an instance, nor can it be made through a magic spell. The Champaran movement is a perfect example of the statement. An oppressive system laid down by the British affected all the peasants of Champaran. A small ignition of spirit and confidence by Gandhi led to a strong rebelling movement. Following this, a series of crackers bursted in the form of freedom movements, which weakened the control of British over India. Relating this to a modern day example, we all know about the LGBTQ plus community and the problems that they faced a few years back. We were not aware of such a wide rainbow of genders and couldn't accept them as well. But as it said, change cannot just appear, it needs to be initiated. Similarly, a thread of parades and campaigns instill the confidence to talk openly about this community and accept one as they are. This change progress to acceptance of differences in the world. To be the change is hard. A load of obstacles jump in the way. But what is more important is to stay strong through it and to believe that a positive outcome will come through every tiniest effort. Taking an episode of Gandhi's life, he was too discriminated against in South Africa for his identity and race. He was put in jail multiple times for protesting his way through politics. To create a voice for India and to change the outlook of people towards Indians, he trusted himself and became the change. Adding this with a 21st century example, the social stigma against body positivity was waving its way through our lives. But gradually, mindsets were changed through promotion of all shapes and sizes are loved. Our social platform was boosted with strong voices and a string of changes were observed. As mentioned above, to make a change, we have to be the change. This aptly resonates with today's era. Although life is inevitable, a minute change within can do wonders. Truly, Gandhi's teachings are relevant to the modern world. So, thank you. This is what I had written.
It's truly wonderful, Rotaract Valley. And yes, as Gandhi has rightly said, and in that quote of his, that very famous quote of his, actually, often we find ourselves giving, usually just lip service and just some concerned remarks, and then we forget about stuff. But change starts from within. That's a very important notion that
Yes,
Gandhi put forward, and that is something that today's youth and today's generation need to learn about and need to imbibe in their lives.
yes, yes, truly.
Now, unfortunately, as I had informed earlier, Rotaractor Ekta Singh, who is our third winner, could not join us in the stream as she is out of station and is facing constant network problems. So, on behalf of her, I would be reading her awesome article that she has written. And here I go. In a gentle way, you can shake the world by Mahatma Gandhi. He did shake the world with his profound knowledge and enchanting philosophy. Mahatma Gandhi, a staunch believer of simplicity and truth, made an exceptional impact not only in India but also throughout the world. His principles and ideologies were distinctive in nature but effective in the 20th century. Gandhi, an advocate of non-violence, was of an opinion that fighting the enemy with violence will not help resolve the issue, rather would only incur loss on both the sides. An eye for an eye would soon make the whole world blind. This was one of the famous quotes of Mahatma Gandhi. This quote holds in most of the cases. However, in a world where terrorism is rapidly growing, affecting countries worldwide, with innumerous loss of innocent lives, it is simply not possible to resort to non-violence and combat these horrifying acts of savagery. With tremendous growth in science and technology, it has eminently aided the arms industry to produce deadly weapons, which can cause a great deal of damage when used. It has been observed that over the past decade, terrorism has caused an average of 21,000 deaths per year, and it is responsible for over 0.05% of the global deaths, which is quite a lot. According to Gandhi, which one is fighting for human rights, one should accept violence and self suffering. He goes on to say a true non violence activist accepts violence on himself without inflicting it on another. Gandhi's principle of resisting violence and applying non-violent measures to fight these inhumane deeds is not always reasonable. It is unfair to the innocent lives that were killed in the act, unfair to the people who demand justice for their family, unfair to the soldiers who sacrificed their lives fighting the terrorists. Acts of such cruelty have to be put an end. In order to do so, one has to adopt harsh measures to eradicate it once and for all. Gandhi truly brought a radical change to the political protests that took place to object the government's policies and reforms of then. Gandhi vehemently promoted the idea of passive resistance and spent his entire life endorsing it in India and the world, through which he is definitely credited. Gandhi se- undertook 17 fasts during the India's freedom movement, longest fast lasting for 20 days. Using fasts as a weapon, Gandhi successfully suppressed the British to fulfill his demands and of his nation. One of the biggest movements to occur in the history was initiated by Gandhi called the Dandi March. It was conducted as an act of civil non-violence disobedience. The protest was not an immediate success, but it did impact substantially in India's struggle for independence. Even though his methods were non-violent, it didn't give prompt results due to which people had to suffer for a prolonged period of time, even though they had their due effects in the longer period of time. Hunger strikes have become a widely used technique in seeking justice. From the women's suffrage movement in the early 20s, where women fought for voting rights while in prison by undergoing hunger strikes, to Anna Hazare of recent years, who started a hunger strike in 2011 to enforce the anti corruption laws. Hunger strikes tend to make a feeling of guilt in others, which leads to fulfillment of the desired demands and needs. Silent protests tend to attract people and media, which in turn exert pressure on the then oppressive governments for enactment of the policies and reforms demanded by the public. Evidently seen in the Nirbhaya case, where thousands of people came to protest against the government, pressurizing the government to form rigid laws that would ensure women's safety. Despite the numerous peaceful protests for years, the accused were not penalized until now. Although Nirbhaya was brought to justice after 6 years of innumerous scandal marches and pestering the government for justice. Instead, justice should be served instantly, like it did in the Hyderabad rape case that took place in 2019, where the accused were killed in an encounter within few days of the rape. Peaceful protest can be used as a means to create and promote the cause for protest, but to expect fruitful results and fulfillment of the desired demands is always not practical. Gandhi was a very simple man who believed deeply in equality and how every one of different caste, creed, sex, origin, and color should be treated with respect and given equal opportunities. Gandhi contributed extensively in regards to women empowerment, protesting against malpractices like female illiteracy, dowry, child marriage, and female infanticide. Even though he felt compassion for women, it is astonishing to see how he believed that women are intended to be caretakers of their family, and their only role in society is of nurturing and looking after the needs of her family. Women should be bounded to staying home, giving peace to their husband when demanded. He also wanted women to have limited education, which is beneficial to a traditional role of nurture. To call women the weaker sex is a libel. It is man's injustice to women. If by strength is meant moral power, then woman is immensely man's superior. By Mahatma Gandhi. And again, as a contradictory statement, from that day when began my brahmacharya, our freedom began. My wife became a free woman, free from my authority as a lord and master, and I became free from the slavery of my own appetite. Another quote by Mahatma Gandhi. Both of these quotes are said by Mahatma Gandhi and are at odds with each other. In one quote, he calls women as superior to men, while in the other, he refers himself as master or lord to his wife, implying his wife to be a slave to him. In 21st century, when women are leading the nation with extraordinary contributions in every field, it is intolerable to follow these practicals, which not only stereotype women but also curbs women's emancipation in the society. With changing time and modernization, one should evolve as well. In this fast-paced lifestyle, where people are being hurt and damaged rapidly, and one cannot go at a snail pace for seeking justice and remediation, actions too should be rapid. It wouldn't make a difference to the brainwashed terrorists about people going on hunger strikes or using non-violent techniques to instill a sense of guilt. They need to be eradicated or put in jail as soon as they fall. In today's world, women too need empowerment for themselves and for uplifting society. The society will function properly only if there's harmony between the genders. No one can neglect the reality about what Gandhi and his ideologies did for us. He was truly a gem. People will always love and respect him for that. Gandhiji will always be the father of a nation who will remain in our hearts for what he did and no longer for his ideologies, for his some contradictory ideologies. I'm sorry. His ideologies too need some modern remediation, and maybe Gandhigiri means a small change of twist for the modern society. By Ekta Singh from RCTC. Thank you. So these were our winning articles from our Mahatma Evoked article writing drive. If any of you have any comments to say about it, all the from the winners side, how was your experience about? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
So
The
the
experience.
yeah
Yeah, should I continue?
yeah sure.
Yeah, so the experience was really good. Actually, I was never that much interested into the history. As a subject, I read it a lot, but not about a particular person. Now, when you gave us the topic, and I digged in into some real information that I thought was useful, and it was really helpful for me as well. So I really thank you for this opportunity.
The pleasure's all mine actually. It's all. Hridaya, what about you? Any special?
Yeah. Firstly, thank you for introducing this Mahatma Evoked idea, because this is something that is really unique, and I really enjoyed my time writing an article for the above topics, and also it was a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you. It was truly wonderful to read all of your articles and all the other articles as well, all the participants that had participated. And I'm, I feel bad to say, but as now we are done with this, again, thank you all for coming over here and listening to our winners on behalf of RCTC and hoping to propagate Gandhian ideals even more profoundly in the nature. We now come to the conclusion of this stream. Thank you all once again for attending this stream, and please do like, share, and comment on our stream on our YouTube channel, Rotaract Club of TCET. And also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Please do press the bell icon for future updates of our awesome Rotaract activities. Wishing all of you a good day ahead. Jai Hind.